This is the fabric we're working with for the robe. It's so pretty. I got it at the thrift store. It's super pretty. It's silky and I don't know what kind of fabric this is. It's very slippery. It's gonna be very difficult to work with. Hooray for me, I'm gonna suffer. But you can see that it's got a lot of detail. It's very shimmery. I'm really stoked. It's like really cool for summer, spring. I'll stretch it out more so you can see what it looks like. Here's the fabric all laid out. Whoa, super pretty. Look at that ugly extension cord. Oh, really, really pretty. And you know what? I actually don't have any super sexy robes, so I really need to make this for myself. This is like so necessary. I don't know if I'll get it done today because I need to go take my brother to the airport, but I'm gonna try to at least cut this out. Or, what am I talking about? I need to make a pattern for this. We need to make a pattern. Let's make an easy robe. This is the front, and I'm gonna cut 2 pieces, but I have to make the front part. So what I was thinking about doing was just kind of making a line like that and then cutting 2 pieces, and then for the back making the same piece essentially but cutting it on the fold. And then the only other thing I would have to do is just cut like a strip out, for the waistband to tie around the waist. So I already cut everything out and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. And this is my front. So I cut that diagonal piece down from the neckline, and that was a little over 16 inches. And then from there 15, 17, 13, 22. And that's going to be cut not on the fold. We're going to cut 2 of these out. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we got our pattern down, and I'm going to use my fancy scissors to cut this fabric because it's very slippery. And I'm trying not to F this up. Okay, I pinned the other front side to the back side, and I pinned it down the best I could. It was really hard to pin this down. This fabric is so slippery. It's just so hard. I'm going to French seam the top shoulder and arm sleeve, the bottom sleeve all the way down. Wish me luck. Good morning. My camera died, so I had to recharge it, and then I procrastinated and I fell asleep, and now it's the next morning and I need to sew this up. So I am going to be doing a French seam to sew everything together, and I'll show you what a French seam is. So because I'm working with super slippery material that will fray, I have to French seam my seams for the easy robe. I'm going to show you what a French seam is in case you've never seen that. So I have some scrap fabric here, and you can tell, like, wrong side, right side. So that's why I chose these scraps. So when you're doing a French seam, you're going to do the opposite of how you usually sew things. You're going to take your good side, put it down, your other good side, face it up. So both sides facing outwards are the right side. So this is going to be my seam line, and I'm going to sew a straight stitch right down this edge. if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna adjust my camera. You want to get real close to the edge, as close as you possibly can. And we're just gonna straight stitch this really quick. So you're stitching the opposite way that you're used to, okay? Then you want to grab some scissors and you're gonna trim off that excess edge close to the thread, but do not cut the thread or you'll completely screw all this up. Just real close. See? Very close. Now, we're gonna flip it inside out. And this is when you might want to get your iron out and like press down that seam. There's my seam here. Now, I'm going to sew down this way. And when you're doing it, you have to make sure that you don't touch the thread line and that you don't have any of that excess side extra popping out. So then on the outside, it looks like a regular seam. And on the inside, that raw edge is completely encased. So it's not gonna fray, it's not going to come undone because of the fraying. It's all hidden inside that little seam right there. And when you wear your garment, for the most part, if you're using something really silky like we're using, it's gonna lay flat against your skin. It's not gonna bulk very much at all. This is a really great technique to use with any fabric that's very slippery, frays easily, especially silk and satin. Oh my God, the French seam is so cool. I feel like I need to talk myself through this. I'm gonna try to do this side a lot neater than the first side that I showed you. I kind of rushed through it because I woke up late and then I had to clock into work and I just sewed really fast and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna take my time, so let's just do this. This has been so hard, you guys. Like, this fabric is so hard to sew with. You can think you're a great sewer and then, you know, you start sewing with this kind of fabric and you start feeling like you've never sewn before. It's just terrible. Oh my God. So I pinned everything down and I'm gonna just remove them as I go. It really helped to use the shorter pins rather than the longer pins like that. Ooh. Yeah, the long pins, way harder. Now I need to trim the excess off the whole area I just did, so I'm gonna do that. I just want to emphasize again how important it is to use really good scissors when you're cutting with difficult fabric like this. These were about 40 bucks. I think you pronounce it ginger. I don't know. But they're made in Italy, and I mean, Versace's made in Italy. A lot of things are made in Italy that I like, so that's cool. And they're very, very sharp. And I feel like these are great scissors for cutting with this kind of fabric because they're very balanced. They're not too heavy, and you have a lot of control. So if I were to use these, like, you can see right here, like, the size difference. And these have that pointy edge, so the probability of you poking the fabric, I feel, is a lot higher. You know, like, you'll just fuck everything up with these probably, because they got that pointy edge. But these have like a knife point edge. See that? Alright, so let's do this. Alright, I cut as darn close as I could, and now I'm gonna flip it inside out like this, darn it. There's my seam, and I'm gonna sew and encase that seam like so, and just all the way down. Have you had enough, or are you thirsty for more? Oh my god, more anxiety. So I'm doing the last step of this French seam. I feel like I gotta like take a breath and like let my heart catch up with itself, because like, wow. I don't know why this is making me so nervous. Okay, so I'm gonna hem the bottom of the robe. I'm basically just folding over the raw edge and then folding it over again and sewing it down with a straight stitch. And I want this to be done already. We're almost done here. I'm doing a rolled hem for the hem of the sleeves and rolled hem for the bottom. I'm wrapping up the last sleeve, so I thought it would be fun to watch me freak out trying to finish this. Again, I'm just rolling my hem. So all of my seam allowances were a total of 1 inch for everything, because I knew I was going to do a French seam and then also a rolled hem for all my hems. And actually, despite my measurements, the robe is still too big for me, so I did have to make an adjustment in the back, which I'll show you guys that in a second. It was really easy. Oh my god, I just really want to be done with this already. And after this, I mean, the only thing I'll have left is just the belt. And then, like, it's done. And I can actually put it on. Okay, here's our belt. It's basically just one, like, long strip that I cut out. And I'm gonna fold it, sew it down, and just turn it inside out. Very basic. Here's my folded raw edge, and I'm just gonna do a straight stitch. Okay, so I got my belt, and I need to turn it inside out. I would usually use a tool, but I'm just really paranoid I'm gonna screw this up, so I'm actually going to attempt to do this by hand, and it's probably gonna take forever. Like, forever. But I just think this might be the least, like, destructive way of doing this, so let's just see how this works. Oh my god. This isn't even that hard, because it's so silky. Like, I'm just, like, do you see what I'm doing here? Wait, I'm probably looking really... I'm just dropping it. I'm dropping it in, and it's just like... Now I'm just gonna shake it. Oops. This fabric is literally that slippery. You can just turn it inside out and like shake it. That's crazy. And then you just, by hand, kind of whoop. Honestly, this has been a journey, you guys. And I'm gonna take a huge break from sewing with this kind of fabric because this was really tough. And the pattern's super easy. Super easy pattern, super easy concept. The fabric made it incredibly difficult. I mean, just so difficult. This will teach you so much patience and so much control. So don't like not sew with difficult fabrics. You should definitely do it because it teaches you discipline. There we go. Here's our belt. And now I'm just gonna go ahead at the ends because they're raw. I'm just gonna tuck them in like this. I'm gonna sew. One thing I did do here is I made an adjustment here at the back of the neckline. I made a big dart just to close the neckline up and make it smaller because when I tried it on it was too big, so don't worry if you find you need to make an adjustment here.